Hi everybody, welcome to another one of Lions Links short stories. My name is Joe Lyons, founder of Lions Links, and first of all, a couple of things. Thanks to Rajesh Kumar for the advice on going with a landscape mode on the video rather than the portrait mode in the previous videos. And also, by special request for Keelan McDonough, who asked me to tell a story that I recalled at a Connacht Interpro team session once upon a time. It feels a bit strange. It's always a little bit difficult to talk about your own successes because it always feels like you're bragging a little bit. But anyway, a lot of my success was down to luck. So um, the story Keelan refers to is it's more about actually my good friend Dermot Ryan spoke about visualization on a yoga post yesterday, and maybe we should be all visualizing being out golfing. So my story recalls my thought process leading up to my unlikely victory in the 2007 West of Ireland Championship. Rory McIlroy was going for three in a row the same year, one of his last amateur events. Shane Lowry was in the field as well, which I dodged some bullets along the way, which I'll tell you about in a few moments. But having had a pretty good amateur seasons in 05 and 06, where I was knocking on the door with some events, I became obsessed with trying to win an amateur golf championship. And throughout the winter of 06, 07, I used to be visualizing my speech and who I'd beat along the way to win the West of Ireland. And this thought would pop into my head: I'm going to shoot 66 and I'm going to shoot 67 and I'm going to lead the qualifiers, and then I'm going to beat Shane Lowry and I'm going to beat Rory McIlroy and I'm going to beat Harry Diamond and I'm going to beat all these top players on the way to the final, and I'm going to beat Eddie McCormack, my old friend and teammate, in the final, and I'm going to beat him 4-3. And this thought, I would be dreaming and visualizing this before I went to bed, while I was asleep, first thing in the morning, even when I go to the toilet in the morning. All I was thinking about was beating Eddie McCormack in the final of the West of Ireland, and my speech was written out. I was going to, I knew what I was going to say, I knew what holes I was going to birdie, everything. And this whole obsession, the West of Ireland was our first championship of the year. This whole obsession was going to be, was about winning a championship. So maybe there's a little bit to I'm not a great believer sometimes in some of the psychology behind golf and that, but no, maybe there's something to it. It was a thought that I actually could spend 10 or 15 minutes daydreaming about winning these matches. And after a while I began to encourage it. I used to actively start visualizing this, rather than as soon as I start thinking about golf for the following year I would start doing this. So unfortunately never came to pass that I beat my good friend Eddie in the final, but it was amazing that week. Keelan mentioned in a post that I did start 6-6-5 that week, and the third is a pretty easy par five. Five is like a bogey there nearly, but two doubles to start with, and I was playing with an old friend, Barry Redden, former Irish international, and I remember him saying to me in the fourth tee as we watched another Irish international go up 18. He said, "Joe, come on," he said, "it's about time you got one of these Irish jackets on your back. You're long overdue. Settle down. You'll be on that squad with that guy later this year." So the rest is history. I managed to finish out the first round qualifying 72, and I shot 72 in the second round. It was a pretty calm week weather wise, and I was pretty calm all week because while I'd visualized winning it for so long, things just seemed to be going my way. And I could have stood in my head or put it left handed and the ball would have gone in the hole. I hold everything all week. I dodged a couple of bullets. My good friend Mick Lavelle from Belmullet beat Shane Lowry in the second round. And so I played Mick in the third round and I managed to beat Mick 3-2, I think. I played exceptionally well on the way to the final, and where I met Paul Cutler, who had done me the favour of beating one Rory McIlroy along the way. So we had a good final. I had a very hot putter again for the final. I think if I was to play Paul Cutler 19 times or 20 times, I'd say he beat me 19. But this is the beauty of amateur golf in Ireland. Your part-time golfer, your postman, your greenkeeper, your policeman, your doctor, your care worker, your social worker, your builder, whoever you are, the formats at the Irish Amateur Championship make something like this a career defining performance for me, a career defining victory. And I'm sure while the likes of Shane and Padraig Harrington and Darren Clark and Paul McGinley and Rory and all these guys cherish their amateur victories, it probably doesn't mean quite as much to them as their major victories. And I don't think I don't think I'm being unfair on the guys in saying that, but that's what I can always say. My name is up there in lights with those guys. One win, well, I suppose a second win last year in another championship, but two wins in 20 years in amateur championship golf when you get to play in 5 or 6 events is a highlight for my career. Those guys were winning 3 and 4 championships or getting to the finals of 3 or 4 championships a year. So if they played amateur golf for 20 years, they'd be up around 30 or 40, like the great Joe Carr, of course. And but this is the allure of the West of Ireland Championship for most mere mortals. We can aspire to be able to look back and say, well, I played in the same tournaments as those guys, I played with those guys. And of course, Ross's Point, an outstanding venue, an absolutely beautiful place. The history there, I'm sure Rory's very fond memories of it. And I think anybody that ever visits there, it's just a spectacular golf course. So thanks for listening to me, Keelan. That one was especially for you. We'll recall some more stories in the days to come. Thanks, guys.